What do you call it? Is this aperitivo culture? Is it cafe culture?
I would say that in this region, the aperitivo culture is a sort of modernization of the osteria culture.
So this is kind of more of the advent of the middle class. After thousands of years of toiling, we can finally relax and enjoy ourselves. I know horse is a sensitive subject with a lot of people.
A cow is cute. You can ride a cow. No, you cannot.
So that's Lake Garda.
Yes, Lake Garda is very important for the microclimate of the Valpolicella area because the combination of the circulation of air make this area very good in terms of microclimate. And this is why viticulture in Valpolicella date back to the Roman time.
How often do you do this bike ride?
Every morning when I am in Fumane, yes.
Hold on. Wait, we have technical difficulties. Marilisa! Marilisa, stop!
Let's do this. Okay.
We're rolling, Rob.
Pfizer. That's right.
I'm really good at knowing about and sharing wine once it's in the bottle and ready to serve, but the thought of my livelihood being dependent day to day and season to season on the unpredictability of weather isn't something I think I could handle. Luckily, there are people like Pierangelo and the Tomasi family of winemakers that have been producing wine here since 1902, so they are unfazed by a little rain.
You do sugar?
No, are you gonna do sugar?
Probably, maybe half.
Why do you add sugar?
Well, I feel that in the morning coffee, I need that little extra energy. So I believe that maybe sugar in my body at this time in the morning is probably an help for the rest of the day.
I could use a little sugar then. It's raining.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, when they come on vacation, they're like, it's raining. And of all the businesses you can think, and the stress that you have one of the most important parts not under your control. How do you deal with that?
Well, you deal that you, in a way, try to accept what the nature decides to do. As you said, there's nothing really you can do about it. At this time of the year, for instance, I mean, this rain is great. This is really very welcome. I mean, it's a shame in one end that we're in a day going around to see our vineyards and winery with rain, but on the other end, we need it. Having this all said, I mean, you really have to get used to get what you get. Our job is to handle wine which is made by a natural product, grapes, and you are involved with that, I mean, basically 11 months in a year. Just take it as this and try to be relaxed and do the best that you can with what you get from nature.
Most people think of Florence when invoking the Renaissance, but the Veneto was a hotbed of art, architecture, literature, and much, much more during the same time period. When Dante was thrown out of Florence, guess where he landed? The Veneto. Throughout the entire region, there are amazing villas built during the Renaissance. Luckily, nature gave us a little break from the rain, and Pierangelo was able to show us around a villa which the family has owned for over 100 years called De Buris, named after the original owners from the Renaissance. The villa is home to Tomasi's single vineyard Amarone and to some of the most beautiful frescoes I have ever seen.
So we are at Villa De Buris. Villa means sort of castle, if you like. It's the local name or the name here in the Veneto region to explain these amazing historic buildings that were actually made between 1400 and 1600. The family that built this villa was called De Buris, the eldest Venetian time villa in the entire Valpolicella area. We have owned this place for a long time, and that's basically in a way, the headquarters of De Buris, which is an amazing Amarone Riserva, so-called De Buris, produced from the most important vineyard that we own in the region, La Groletta, a small spot up in the hill, facing Lake Garda, so facing southwest. The best place to get the best grapes. And here at the villa, we have the cellar, where the wine spends a long time in aging. And all here in the surrounding, ruins from the Roman time. Actually, there are original frescoes in the walls of the villa. I mean, this central part was already renovated some years ago. in fact, and you can really tell that there is a huge piece of history that can really tell a story of the Valpolicella area from the Roman time up to now. Let me explain how this region looks like. You have to imagine a big hand with 5 fingers, like 5 hills and 5 valleys. And these vineyards belong to my family since 1902, when my great-grandfather, Giacomo Tomasi, started the family business. And this specific vineyard, the most important one, the most historic one, is actually called Raphael. So this vineyard, since a long time, has been dedicated to the production of a Valpolicella Classico Superiore.
Well, I've never
It
had,
smells a lot.
it smells delicious.
isn't it?
Yeah. And I've never had wine, like a bottle of wine made with grapes
Right.
from the vineyard where I'm standing. So this is just amazing.
You know, what I can promise you though is it is a lovely experience for me also to have the wine right in the place where the wine is made. But the Valpolicella Raphael tastes very good in America as well, not only here. Salute!
Salute.
Grazie! Cheers! And welcome!
What has always fascinated me about wine is that when you open a bottle, what you're getting is a direct connection to the place and time when that wine was made. You're literally drinking history, time, and a place. Over 500 feet below the Bolca Fossil Museum just outside Verona, we were able to see 50 million years of that history, layer after layer of soil on top of another like pages in a book. The fossil records that have come from this area can be found all over the world in our natural history museums, thanks to this unique and singular area.
We're standing at the confluence of the Valpolicella region and the Soave region. If you can give us the history of this area from a geological standpoint.
Certo, questa è la Val d'Alpone, una valle di origine vulcanica, è la quinta valle della Lessinia, siamo a una quarantina di chilometri dalla città di Verona e a 35-40 chilometri dalla Valpolicella. Questa è un'area vulcanica con numerosi giacimenti fossiliferi di vulcani, si parte dall'inizio da Soave e tutta la terra vulcanica sale fino a Bolca, che era un grande mare che è emerso, le rocce sono emerse poi con l'innalzamento delle montagne. Questa valle è speciale proprio per il suo suolo vulcanico e da qui la famiglia Cerato per 8 generazioni è andata a cercare in quell'antico mare di 50 milioni di anni fa quei fossili, quella fauna ittica che ha reso famosa Bolca in tutto il mondo.
In wine, we study geology, and some of us even lick the rocks. But the experience of being in the museum that helped the world understand an entire geological era is something I never would have expected. After we toured the museum, which I highly recommend doing, we found ourselves in the nearby vineyards of Tenuta Sant'Antonio, literally connecting the rocks.
We spent the past few days traveling through Valpolicella, and now we're on the eastern side of Valpolicella. But we've noticed something kind of unique about the whole region is this soil right behind you.
Yes, yes. We are in the fantastic place in the top of the hill, about 300 meters above sea level, where the soil is really particularly completely white limestone. And it is a place where millions of years ago there was an ocean, and this is a sediment. No? The name of this place, it is Monte Garbi. It means in Italian, Monte is a mountain, Garbi, sour, arid, poor. The people live in the village over there say this is a sour here, difficult here, arid here, because in the past there wasn't the irrigation. Now we can give some water the plants, and we can produce something interesting. In the past, when the grapes, it was paid from quantity and not for quality, it was honestly difficult to live here and to produce some quantity of grapes. Today we have the possibility to create a wine really with a nice high quality.
A lot of cantinas are families, but you're the first cantina I've come across that's 4 brothers that all work side by side. How did you decide who did what?
We started, I remember, together because all we had enthusiasm, no? And we are probably lucky because we have the same idea, the same philosophy.
I have two brothers, and I'm in the middle, and we fight all the time whenever we're in the same room. How do you get along so well?
The youngest brother's like, abbiamo un gene che ci lega.
We had the possibility to live with our father, our uncle. We had the possibility to stay together with him for a long time. And he suggests us, when you start some problem, please stop some time, everyone at home, different home, one night to reflect, and tomorrow probably the idea it is more clear or you are more relaxed. It's possible to discuss better, and this is a nice suggestion. Exactly.
To familia. Complimenti to familia. Cheers this and enjoy this course. Discovering, or being led to, in our case, seemingly random places is what I always find fun about travel. During lunch, we asked the Castagnetti brothers what was one place in their area that they felt we should see that most people, or all people, skip over. They led us to a random parking lot outside of a church, where most of us just shrugged our shoulders. And then we got schooled. The church is built into Roman ruins, and then inside is frescoes from the 9th century. Only by asking a local do you get to discover something so untouched by tourists and feel like you're discovering something new, even though it's super old. This is what being a traveler is all about. Throughout Italy, family heritage drives the wine industry, from estates planted 50 years ago all the way back to Romans who produced wine thousands of years ago. The link between food, wine, and family is exemplified by hospitality. In Italy, it is not uncommon to visit a winery, be it big or small, and end up welcomed around the dinner table as a guest. Our visit with the Zunato family was no exception. At the southern shores of Lake Garda in San Benedetto di Lugana, Zunato has been producing wines for over 60 years, and Mama Zunato has been making risotto, a northern Italian staple, just as long. I'd give you the recipe, but as you can imagine, she might kill me. It's a family secret.
This is the thing I've always loved about Italy, is being connected to families, and the hospitality that you provide strangers is unbelievable. And I think it's admirable to have a culture that's so open and willing to share.
This is really our lifestyle. It's a culture of here in Italy, and is a tradition during the week, in particular Sunday. Sunday is the family day, no?
I mean, one reason I was very excited to come to Lugana, I've been to Lazzise, but I've never been to Peschiera, this part of the lake. I don't think a lot of Americans know about Lugana, but it's the biggest lake. What do you feel defines this part of Lago de Garda?
It's the influence given to the climate by the lake. It's a sort of thermal basin that in the winter it's cold but not too cold, and in the summer season when the grapes start to ripen it's hot, but at the same time in the evenings we have always some fresh breeze that come from the north side of the Prealps, and this cool down the temperature of our vineyards and helps this difference between the day and the night that is very important for the grapes and for the accumulation of sugars and flavors.
How would you describe Lago di Garda, this part, to someone you're like, you should come visit us here? What's outside of just, the wine, the food, what would bring me here? Why would I come here? In addition to the food and the wine, which is a lot of the reason people come to Italy.
So nowadays there are a lot of houses, a lot of hotels, restaurants. In the past was really less, and this was because a lot of tourists come to visit the Lago di Garda. So there are a lot of demand about also to have a hotel, a restaurant, and Yeah, it's very, very famous, and it's very easy. When you go out to Peschiera, you can decide also to stay on the lake, to go to visit the mountains. You are very close to visit the city of Verona, to visit Venice. As most of the tourists like to stay here in Peschiera and then rent a car and go around. So, yeah. Is a place where, and we hope in the future to have more American people. So I think is a very, very important that the American people has to visit, has to understand better about the lifestyle in this particular area.
Cheers.
So cheers and
Grazie mille. Buon appetito. Cheers. Oh nonna. Mamma. So we're walking to the grotto, and it's interesting. This is I've heard about this grotto, but I don't know anything about it.
Cthulhu is a Roman poet.
So we're talking 2,000 years ago. Okay.
Before Christ.
Also
Many years
probably
ago.
he knew about the viticulture, about the Lugana.
Oh. Cthulhu wrote
Yes,
about
yes,
Lugana,
Lugana
over
area,
2,000 years
yes,
ago,
yes, yes.
and the viticulture going on here. Unfortunately, it happens throughout the world. Even in New York, you have the best plans, and you get to a place, and you forget a wine opener, and we can't get into what we want to see. So narrate what's going on.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my shoe off. I'm going to put the bottle in the shoe.
Your shoes are so little. No, not enough. There's a amount of victory involved in this. Oh, Mom and Dad, the braces, don't worry about it. Risotto, Lugana Reserva, 2015. You may not be proud of how we opened it, which you should be, but this is delicious. Thank you all very much. This is delicious.
Thank you for the
Fantastic.
So here is the place where the Tomasi family business started. My grandfather and my father and my uncle were actually born and raised in Bianca. And that's actually where I live, where I'm the lucky one to live here. And if you look at the house, looking towards that direction, you can actually recognize what is in the picture of the Tomasi Amarone label. So this is really the history of the. I mean,
Let him go.
Yeah.
should I say that again?